Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is just gonna be a laid back, casual, get ready with me. I have a bunch of products here that I've never tried, some newer, some really old, and I'm just gonna have some fun with some makeup and talk about what's been going on in my life these past couple of months. So if that sounds good to you, if you like Get Ready With Me videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around, but with all that, we're just gonna get started. All right, normally I bring you in a little bit closer when I'm trying out products, but since this is just a little bit more laid back and casual and more chatty, I'm not gonna do that. I will be listing all the products that I'm using today down below in the description box. If I don't talk about them too much, I will still try to touch on them all. The first thing I have is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. I picked up the shade 3, and this has been sitting, waiting for me to try for a while. I've heard like mixed thoughts, so I wanted to test it out myself. And depending on this, I don't know if I'm gonna use my foundation or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's what it looks like. I don't want to talk too much about the products, or I won't have enough time to just update you on what's been going on in my life. I think the last time, I'm going to start off pretty slowly with this and just kind of see. So the last time I think I did one of these, I was getting ready to go to Spain. So if you don't know, or if this is your first time here, I live in France and I love dogs. I know a lot of millennials do. It's kind of like the thing right now, but I really love dogs. It's actually one of my goals is to be involved in a rescue in some sort of capacity. So I finally took the plunge. And it took me a while to get approved to go volunteer at this rescue in Spain for 1 month. It's a Greyhound specific rescue. They're actually called Galgos in Spain. That's a Spanish Greyhound, just breed specific, I guess. Very similar though. I love Greyhounds. So I got approved to go there for a month and I was very excited about it. I mentioned it in a lot of my videos. So I went there for the entire month of April and I had so much fun. It was everything I could have dreamed of and more. It honestly exceeded my expectations. Now, I was extremely tired. The first week, I will say, was very rough. Like, I was dreaming during the day. I was daydreaming about just sleeping. I was so exhausted, but just so fulfilled. I loved it so much, even though it was very hard work. They really do try to prep you as much as they can to prepare for it. Like they told me over the phone, you know, expect to be doing 50,000 steps a day. I didn't. My personal best was 30,000 steps a day. So, you know, they really try to oversell it so that way you're not going there and you just can't handle it. I do stay on property, so they have a couple little accommodations for more long-term volunteers. There's different kinds of programs you can do there. They're called Galgos Del Sol, in case I didn't mention that. I'll have the rescue link down below too, because they are just a fantastic rescue. And the owner, I mean, she's there every single day working alongside you 10 to 12 hours a day. Like she's just so incredible. But you know, you really just, you pick up a lot of poop. I don't think I really anticipated how much poop you're gonna see and how comfortable you get with poop so quickly. I mean, I probably should have expected it, but there's a lot of poop picking up. I did a lot there. Basically, they have kind of like their everyday routine. So they can house about 300 dogs, and they don't just do Galgos, they also do Podencos, is a pretty popular breed in Spain, and sometimes they'll do some hard to rehome dogs. They have a few Mastins there, and I'll pop up some photos in case you're interested to see. I'm gonna be trying the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy version. I picked up the new Niacinamide, and I kind of want to do like a comparison against all the Wet n Wild foundations, and this one's one that I've had and I just haven't tried yet. The blurring balm, by the way, looks amazing. Anyways, they have a very good system for their animals. They really try to get the dogs out as much as they can throughout the day, but really they focus on routine. So every day the dogs get their kennels cleaned and they go out into an exercise yard. Then more dogs will get walked kind of in between that in the mornings. So other volunteers will be walking dogs while their kennels are simultaneously being cleaned, and then they're out like free range off lead in a little exercise yard. So they get off lead time in the morning, they get walks in the morning, and then in the afternoon they get their kennel cleaned again and they get off lead time again. So every single dog, and this is hard for rescue, like 300 dogs, every single dog gets off lead time twice a day, and most of them are getting additional walks. And the walks, you know, like you think like, oh, you're just trying to exercise the dog, but they really stress the importance of actually just spending time with the dog. So yes, you're walking them, but they have like a little agility course and they have a sensory garden, so you can kind of just spend time with the dog and more get the dog acclimated to being around people. Now, what I just found like so surprising, I guess, about my experience is the amount of dogs. So in Spain, let me rewind. Greyhounds are one of the most dumped dogs because in Spain, they're used for hunting, and I believe it's estimated 100,000 greyhounds are dumped every year after hunting season in Spain. It's a lot of dogs, and that's them being dumped. That's not including, you know, being killed and just disposed of that way. So it's a really big problem there. And you would think for these dogs that have just been used as a tool that they would be so much more scared. I mean, there's 90% of those dogs have scars. Not a ton of them, you know, have their ears cut. I'm sorry if this is like a little graphic, but like just unnecessary punishment. Like, why would you cut a dog's ears off? Like just randomly, like clearly like some scissors were just taken and the dog's ears were cut off just to show dominance. I don't really know. I don't want to talk about that too much, but for whatever backstory this dog has, most of them just wanted to be around people. And I found that really special because I can't even imagine like if that had happened to me, like that's the last thing I would want to do. There was really only a handful, like 20, 25 dogs that were scared. And even from them, I would say maybe 5 to 6 of ones where you really couldn't even approach them. They were that afraid. So out of 300 dogs, I just think that that's pretty crazy. I was just amazed at how trusting these dogs were and how much they really just wanted to be loved. And that was really cool to see. They do have a vet on site, so they do a lot of like spaying and neutering. I'm going in with the Loreal True Match Concealer that I bought when it launched and I have yet to try. So they have a vet on site who does some stuff, and then they have like a specialty vet who's off site, who does like more extensive things that maybe are a little bit more complicated. Like there's this one dog, Phoenix. They found him. I said I wasn't going to talk about animal cruelty, but I loved Phoenix so much. He had acid thrown on him, so he's like 90% covered in burns. He's been there for a little bit now. He's the nicest dog. Like, I mean, I don't even know why. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But they have a specialty vet for him. Like Tina, the owner, is very, very, I mean, the dogs are number one. She will find the number one skin specialist dog vet for him, regardless of the cost. It doesn't matter. So the dogs are all really well taken care of. You're going to hear my dogs barking now. And it is what it is. I've given up trying to stop them while I'm filming because I'll just have to start and stop over and over again. But the dogs are really well taken care of. I took care of, and long-term volunteers typically take care of the more special needs dogs, which was really cool for me, just because you're gonna be there a little bit longer. You have more time to work with the dogs, and it's a little more spacious for the dog. So I got to take care of those dogs, which was so much fun. I created so many bonds with the dogs. I love them all. I have the Gucci bronzer in Fair, which I picked up when I went to America not too long ago. And this has been on my list to try forever. The foundation looks really nice. I paired the Dewy foundation with the Danessa Myricks only because I don't love dewy foundations, and I thought the Danessa Myricks would kind of tone down the glow a little bit, and it definitely did. The shade match is pretty good too. So I'm going to take care of like more of the special needs dogs, sometimes the vet dogs. I got to do like a little bit extra. There's weekly volunteers and there's monthly volunteers. There's some people who have stayed there for an entire year. Can you imagine like staying there for a year, not getting paid, and you just do this every day? You get 1 day off a week, which you definitely need. You know, they'll try to give you more, but there's not that many people there on a day-to-day basis. I would say you have to have at least 5 people a day to like keep it running, but that's just like bare minimum. Sometimes they have more, sometimes they have less. But yeah, people stay there quite often. After that, you know, there's just so many things to talk about with it. But overall, like, let me just say that I absolutely had the time of my life. I think I made a good impression because they actually are going to be short on volunteers in September. So they messaged me and asked me if I would be able to come back in September. So I probably am going to go there for another month, which just felt really good to be asked again. I never wanted to like go. My biggest fear going there is that I'd be more of a hindrance than actual help, because I ask a lot of questions. Like, I want to know everything and anything when it comes to what goes on there. As far as the adoption progress, like the adoption process, the numbers that happen, just how many dogs come in, how many dogs go out, everything. I want to know everything there is to know. So I don't think I pepper them too much with questions, but they were always happy to answer them. And I think I made a good enough impression that they asked me to come back. Even though they need people, I try to think they had a lot of people they could ask, and they asked me. So really happy that I'll probably be going again in September. And it's hopefully something I can just continue to do to work with them. I, got to spend a lot of time with Tina, the owner. Like I said, she's super hands-on. So I'm trying to figure out a way with her that maybe I can contribute remotely. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. This is the BareMinerals blush in Call My Blush. I got like a kit during holiday that had a bronzer and then just this regular blush. So I figured I'd try it on camera with you. But I'm trying to figure out a way with her to maybe do stuff remotely when I can't be there. They do have like merch, obviously, it makes sense, but merch is something that kind of gets neglected because taking care of the dogs is clearly more important. And I used to be a visual merchandiser, if you didn't know that, when I lived in America. So I fixed up their merchandise display, and I'm gonna look into just maybe how we can improve the merchandise for them. Not necessarily quality, because I think they have really good stuff, but I don't think it's getting the reach that it could get. And people like want to buy stuff and support the rescue at the same time. So I just think it's a missed opportunity, and I'm going to look into maybe expanding that for them, which would be really awesome. And I would get to just continue to support them from afar. So I think that would be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. I've just been a little bit busy. I told them, after my trip there, after I was done volunteering, I was going to Louisiana. So I came back home for like 10 days. Then I went to Louisiana for kind of like a family reunion. It was kind of a family reunion, but also just a lot of celebrations tied in. My mom was turning 60. This is the melt highlight that I've been too afraid to open in Iluminacion. And it is time for me to actually try this. So my mom was turning 60. One of my brothers was being commissioned to an officer in the Marines. He graduated college. So all of my siblings got there. I'm one of 5, and we kind of did like a family reunion celebration type thing. So I spent 10 days back home. Then I went to Louisiana with my mom. My husband did have to stay back just with work and stuff. It didn't end up happening, which was unfortunate because he was one of the only spouses that didn't go. But that was also a lot of fun, and I had a blast doing that. I was there for a little over 2 weeks. So it was a good long trip. Not all of my siblings were there the entire time. Like, they were kind of scattered. You know, it's hard for some of my siblings who live in Arizona to take that much time off of work. So I did get to spend time with one of my brothers, my sister-in-law, and then I saw my other siblings. My sister also lived there. She just recently moved back to Arizona though after our trip. So I spent time with them, and then I got to see my other siblings kind of in between. My brother's, Vincent is his name. Hopefully he doesn't mind me saying his name. I don't think he cares. His wife's family also came, mostly just for the celebrations, not for my mom's birthday and stuff, but for Vincent's commissioning and college graduation. This is a lot more subtle than I was anticipating. It's a really pretty color though, like this pink iridescent. I don't really wear stuff like this, but it's pretty. It just isn't as impactful as I was thinking. It has like this really cool shift though. I get distracted easily. But his wife's family also came, so it was kind of our first time meeting them. When my brother and his wife got married, they really just didn't announce anything. They kind of just got married. And if you were there, you were there. So I wasn't there for their wedding. And this was kind of like a cool way for us to also meet her family. And we went to Bourbon Street a couple times and celebrated with them. They are quite the partiers. My family is less so, like, we like to have fun, but we're fine having fun at home with like some games. And they're like bar hoppers, which is not a bad thing. It's just a little bit different. So we were all exhausted by the couple of days. We rented an Airbnb in New Orleans for 2 days to go to Bourbon Street and stuff like that after my brother's like ceremony with them. And I was quite exhausted afterwards. I have the Unearthly Spring Magic palette. I didn't really feel like doing a dedicated video on this since it just is a little bit older. I sent this to Arizona and then I didn't pick it up until much later. So I'm just going to create kind of like a neutral pinky look to go with this sweater that I'm wearing at the end of June, almost July, because it is cold here. I don't know what it is with the weather here, but the weather in France has not been great. It's just been raining all the time. Back to my story. So spent some time in New Orleans. My brother's like an hour away from New Orleans. He's not too far, not too close, pretty good distance. And then afterwards, it was a little bit more chill. For my mom's birthday, she turned 60. So since we were all going to be there, our gift to her, we got her professional family photos, which was really fun. We've never, ever done like professional photos before. And we all knew that my mom just wanted pictures, like updated pictures of all of us together. Because I think the last time we were all together, it's been at least 5 or 6 years. So we took advantage of that and got a professional photographer to do some photos of all of us. So that was really cool. It was also a little disappointing that my husband couldn't be there for that, but it's okay. We're just going to Photoshop him in and have some awkward, like really obvious Photoshop. I think that would be kind of funny if we did that. But so we did that. My brother's friends took us out on their boat on the river. So I got to do like the Louisiana River thing don't recommend getting into the water. The water there is, it's not Mediterranean water, I'll tell you that. It's a little bit scary, but the boat was fun. Had a lot of fun doing that and just got to like hang out with my family. I mean, like, what more could you ask for? We recreated some childhood photos. My sister really wanted to do that. I'll pop those up too, just in case you're interested. And I just like to share my life a little bit. I don't get to do that often. So it was a really fun trip, and I came back and it was back to reality. It's been just a really busy year, a good year though. Like, it's just, this is the first year where I've really felt like things are moving along since COVID. And, you know, for a lot of people, I don't know if you're allowed to say that still, but, or if it's still considered a naughty word, but that's okay. I'm not going to bleep it out. Since 2020, you know, life has just felt really stagnant and kind of just like you're going through the motions every day. So this is the first year that I've just felt a lot more fulfilled. Time is flying by, but in a good way, in a busy way, in like a productive, fulfilling way. And that's really all I can ask for, right? So I'm just overall really pleased and happy with like where my life is headed right now. And I couldn't ask for that much more. I don't want to keep this like too neutral here. I'm trying to like see what I can do, but also it's hard for me to talk and think at the same time. I don't think I'm going to do anything too crazy here. Add some pink kind of in the outer corner here. And then let's see, where does that bring us? So now my husband had, part of the reason why he couldn't go to Louisiana is he's just been working on a really big work project. My husband works for himself, and he's just been really just consumed with that. And part of that is that there was a conference in Cyprus, which we used to live in Cyprus for 2 years, and he needed everything to be ready by that time. So he just swamped with work. And he has been in Cyprus for about a week and a half now, and he's coming home tomorrow. There was actually a possibility, we had talked about me going to Cyprus with our dog and just spending the next 2 months there while he was working still. We were thinking that there was a possibility he was still going to have to do some meetings and meet people in person, but it looks like that he can do it all remotely. So instead of us being in 2 different places, it's just more cost effective, honestly, for us to be back here than for me to go with our dog over to Cyprus, pay for, you know, summer villa prices, which aren't cheap. Everyone's going there for the summer. It's a pretty popular place there. So it'd just be a lot more expensive than here. So he's gonna come back tomorrow. I'm picking him up from the airport. We're just gonna see where it goes from there. We might go back to Cyprus. I'm not sure. Everything's kind of up in the air right now, but as of right now, he's coming back, and I'm going to Spain in September. Don't know how yet, don't have like a ticket or like really just dates, but we're gonna just make it happen and not stress too much about it. And just know that everything's gonna work out. So that's where I'm at right now. Just kind of been cleaning the place a lot because I originally thought I was gonna be leaving. So, you know, I wanted to get the place as move out ready as I could until I got the green light that I was gonna go. Just that way it was less. And I figured worst case scenario, I cleaned the house, you know what I mean? There's really no downside to me just cleaning. So he's coming back, so now the house is clean, but I think that I was gonna go in with this dark shimmer, but now it's looking a lot darker. I'll put this right here. But now he's coming back. The house is clean-ish. I mean, I have scrubbed almost every single wall in this house, and I'm almost done, but I'll just continue on and it'll be ready later. I rent a little 2-bedroom apartment for my mom on my mom's property, so I kind of care a little bit extra than maybe I would normally if I was just renting from any Joe Schmo, because obviously, like, I want the place to look nice for my mom afterwards so she can just immediately put it back up on Airbnb and she doesn't have to do anything like repaint or anything like that. So that's why I was spending a little bit more time just cleaning and filming videos. Why is this looking not cute? What am I doing wrong here? I think I'm just not paying as much attention as I normally would, and it's kind of getting everywhere. I don't think it's the palette. The formula is working amazing. I just think that I try to do too much with this palette and with the shimmers, because the shimmer, I went in with Sunshine, and then I was going to put this on the inner part of my lid, thinking that it was going to be more translucent, more of like a topper, but it's darker. I think that's when I messed up. And now it's like a little bit uneven. The colors don't go well. It could be worse, I guess. Maybe I can fix it. Just add a little bit more of that pink back in. Let's see where we go from there. But, you know, I'm sure that I was a little scatterbrained while talking. I mean, I know I probably was, because there's just so much information, especially about the rescue, and I don't know what people want to hear. So if you have questions about the rescue, if you want to volunteer, I mean, they have people coming from everywhere, from America, a lot of people, they have people from Iceland that come like multiple times a year. So if you're ever interested in volunteering at a dog rescue, like, feel free to ask me questions in the comments, or if there's something I started to touch on and then got distracted and didn't, I'm happy to answer that in the comments as well. Just let me know. I'm gonna go in, I need to find the right brush. I cleaned all my brushes yesterday, so they're actually all clean. And I'm gonna go in with Clouds on the inner corner. Because of course I gotta put a little bit of iridescence in there. But yeah, feel free to ask me whatever you want in the comments. I get a lot of people from the UK. I'll tell you one more story, because I think that it's my favorite story. It doesn't have to do with me being at the rescue, but just about the rescue. So like I said, the owner of the rescue of Galgos Del Sol, her name is Tina Solero. She is originally from the UK. She met her husband there, and they decided to move to Spain. Her husband originally is actually from Spain, from Murcia, which is where this rescue's at. And she found a dog on the side of the road, a greyhound, and, you know, fell in love. And then it just like started from there. She actually started working at one of the volunteering at one of the pounds, and just really took it to the next level there. They actually, this is not part of the story, but just me bragging on them. They've actually done such a good job cleaning dogs up off the streets. Apparently they were just, I mean, she's been doing this 15 years. So there's so many just dogs on the streets that now she really doesn't catch that many dogs from the streets. She's actually pulling dogs from the government-run pounds and rehoming them that way, because they've done such a good job in their area. But that's not the story. The story is she met her husband, Jamie Solero, and they decided to move to Spain, into the area where his family's from. And his family is actually his father specifically, is actually a really famous bullfighter, or was, he's passed, a really famous bullfighter in that area. So famous, and he looks so much like him that people would stop him on the street saying like, oh, are you so-and-so's son? And he'd be, yeah. And I don't think he has a good relationship with his father, so it made him a little bit upset. But what I find just like so cool with the universe, not to sound like so woo-woo, but I find it so cool to have like a family legacy be started with like bullfighting and violence and just be like turned around. And now people know her last name, their last name, as the crazy lady who saves dogs and is an animal advocate. I just find that so cool how you can really change your past and turn it into like something cool. Granted, like it wasn't her family, but it's still like a family name and there's like importance to that. I don't know how to explain it. I hope I'm coming across okay, but I just thought that was like the coolest story and was really meaningful and just special. I think now that I've done my really just bad eye look, I am going to go put some liner and some mascara, and I will be back to just kind of do a little roundup, quick first impression on all these products. Here's my makeup, almost done. I forgot about the lip gloss here, so let me just put my glasses back on. I just added like black liner and smudged it out a little bit to hide my mistakes. I think I was so excited talking about what I've been doing that I just wasn't paying attention, honestly, when doing my eye look. But I think the liner and the mascara kind of hit it. The lip gloss is the BareMinerals Mineralist in Sincerity. I don't know if this is going to match, but it's time for me to get some of these things out of the boxes. I have liked BareMineral glosses in the past. So let's just give this a shot, and then we'll go over my thoughts on all of these. Yeah, this is pretty typical BareMinerals. It's a very pigmented, thick gloss. Like it's not an opaque gloss at all, or it is opaque. It's not a thin lip oil type of gloss. Like this is kind of, I would say, like an old school type of gloss. And it is pretty. It's thin. It's not sticky, but it's got some color to it. So actually not too bad. I recently decluttered one of my last BareMineral glosses. It just was so old and the color was like that really milky nude. I just didn't like it anymore. Let's talk about the products. The Danessa Myricks I enjoyed much more than I thought I was going to. I think that it made my base look really nice. I could also see myself wearing it on days I don't want to put foundation since it is tinted. And I think my skin looks pretty good. The foundation also looks nice. I have no problems with the complexion products. The concealer is not creasing. Granted, I did not powder. I just was too lazy. Honestly, I actually forgot to powder because, like I said, just was so excited to. I've been waiting video after video. I've been filming some videos and I've been like, I need to film my Get Ready With Me and talk about my dog rescue experience because I feel like some of you were interested and have been asking me questions. So I wanted to update you all and I just was so excited I forgot to do powder. So I haven't powdered it and it looks nice. It hasn't creased at all. It's very smoothing, very hydrating. I like it a lot. Honestly, maybe my most disappointed is the bronzer, only because I'm not seeing it on my cheeks as much. And maybe I just like to go heavy-handed with bronzer. I like bronzer. I got Fair because that's what everyone kind of recommended to be like the best color. It is definitely like a little bit more cool toned. It is fair. Maybe this just needs to be a winter bronzer. And I will say, like, also just disappointed in the packaging. Like, this doesn't really feel, doesn't feel as luxury as I was picturing it. Like, the clasp just feels cheap. It doesn't really click in and feel secure. I don't know. The blush, average blush. Like, I think you could get similar at the drugstore. Nothing special to say about it. I haven't really been impressed by BareMineral blushes. The highlight, surprising favorite. I just wish I had pulled it out sooner. I was kind of like, it's one of those products I was just keeping in pristine condition because of the imprint, but I am finished doing that. I want to love my products and use them. So very happy with this. I will keep the packaging. I normally don't do that because I find I don't reach for my products, but I think that this is unique and special enough where I just have to. And then the Unearthly palette, I just love Unearthly's formula. I didn't get to play around with it too much. I only used this shade, this shade, this shade. I try to use this shade. It didn't really just look great with my eye look. And then the iridescent. So I really need to play around with the blues, really go into the pinks here, the greens, but love the color story. My only just con, because I always have one, I always have an opinion, is that I just wish that it was in the same layout as like the Spring Magic, the Sorceress Smoke, just not, how many shades is this? 18 shades and just her typical 12, because I don't know, I just like the palettes to line up and be uniform. That's a personal opinion though, not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. I love this kind of packaging though. And then the lip gloss is okay. I mean, it's a lip gloss. I didn't really pay for it. I think it was gift with purchase, so no complaints for getting it for free. After that, I guess I'm gonna end this. Like I said, leave any questions you have about my trips down below. I'm happy to answer them because I probably missed something and I know I jumped around everywhere because I just have so many thoughts floating around about it in my brain. If you live in America, please know, like, you can adopt dogs through Galgos Del Sol. They actually have a USA branch. They do transports there pretty often whenever someone comes from America who volunteers and is willing to set up a transport back to the US. They do that. They recently just had, I think, like 9 dogs go to California and on the West Coast. They also do adoptions to Canada. If you're interested in adopting to Canada, they adopt all over. Spain is one of their least places that they adopt the dogs out to. They're really sending them out to a lot of places, UK, Belgium, the Netherlands. So their website will be linked down below, as well as their Instagram. If you like watching dog content, Tina is really great about just making little stories. She does a great job with her social media on just having you fall in love with all the dogs there and doing little stories for them. I love watching just the little stories, and it also is just really fun. If you go back, you'll actually go back to April time, you'll actually see some videos of me in some of the videos, like in some of the backgrounds and handling the dogs. But it's kind of cool now to watch the stories and like know a little bit more of what goes on behind the scenes, because obviously the videos don't show everything, but it's kind of cool to like feel part of the secret club almost, that I know like what is happening. Not that bad things are happening, just I know a little bit more about the dog that's being showcased, so to say. This is where I'm gonna leave you all though. I hope you're having a great one. I am doing so good, which is so nice. It's really nice to have that feeling again. But I am going to let you go. I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.